Good morning, everyone, and thank you for choosing Market Briefing, Financial News and Cryptocurrencies. Every day, our goal is to provide you with a thorough and knowledgeable analysis of the most relevant financial news to help you navigate the complex economic landscape. Let's begin our daily review. Market Analysis, September 27, 2023. The Pan-European Stoxx 600 Index rose, led by gains in technology and energy shares. Major indices had dropped for 4 straight sessions prior as government bond yields hit decade highs. U.S. futures also climbed about 0.5% early Wednesday. This comes even as a key gauge of global equities extended its losing streak, falling below its 200-day average. Markets face potential for the longest slide since 2011 if the downturn continues. Driving the slight recovery was some stabilization in bond markets after yields pulled back from recent peaks. Key U.S. 10-year Treasury yields dipped from highs above 4%, while German 10-year bond yields also softened slightly. The policy-sensitive 2-year Treasury yield hit a new 15-year high of around 4.3% earlier this week. Rising real yields have boosted the U.S. dollar index to 9-month highs as well. According to analysts, bonds are guiding stocks and currencies right now, ultimately impacting the real economy. If yields march higher, equity declines could accelerate along with hits to consumer spending. On the data front, U.S. consumer confidence dropped in September as higher gas prices and aggressive Fed rate hikes took a toll. A key confidence gauge fell to 103 from a revised 108.7 in August, missing economist forecasts. Oil prices were on the rise again, climbing back above $91 a barrel and adding to inflation pressures. In stock-specific news, shares of Biogen and Eisai jumped after their experimental Alzheimer's drug slowed cognitive decline in a closely watched trial. Biogen shares surged over 50% in pre-market trading on the results. Meanwhile, in Europe, Swedish fashion retailer H&M fell 6% as it reported a 68% drop in quarterly profits and warned of lingering cost pressures. Turning to politics, U.S. Senate leaders agreed on a bill to fund the government through November and provide Ukraine aid, averting a shutdown. The bill still requires House approval to pass. Before proceeding with our analysis, we would like to remind you that your support is very important to us. If you enjoy this video and find our content helpful and engaging, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel. This helps us grow and provide you with even more quality content. Now, let's get back to the news on the financial markets and the latest updates. Starting with crypto, the big news is that leading exchange Binance has sold its Russian unit to a new crypto platform called COMEX. This comes as Binance aims to fully exit the Russian market amid ongoing sanctions related to the war in Ukraine. COMEX itself only appeared to launch yesterday, though it was already listing major cryptocurrencies for trading. The company says it will block customers from the US, EU, and other jurisdictions. This latest sale underscores how sanctions continue impacting the flow of crypto worldwide. In market action, prices for top cryptos Bitcoin and Ether were largely steady over the last day, holding recent ranges. Analysts point to signs that crypto markets are again correlating with U.S. equities, which fell on Tuesday. As expected rate hikes linger, riskier crypto and tech shares seem impacted. Major indices like the S&P 500, Dow Jones, and Nasdaq each dropped over 1% yesterday. Still, the overall crypto market cap remains just above $1 trillion. An outlier in the muted crypto markets was Shiba Inu token BONE, which jumped roughly 10% in 24 hours. Driving this was news that BONE's deployer contract was fully secured, or renounced, by developers. This type of move reassures traders that a crypto can't be manipulated. BONE now trades around 90 cents with a $230 million market cap. Shifting focus, Bitcoin's expected volatility has now topped Ether's for a record 20 straight days. Data from options exchange Deribit shows Bitcoin's 30-day implied volatility well above Ether's equivalent measure. Traders appear to be pricing in heightened near-term volatility for Bitcoin compared to other large cryptos. This suggests macro forces like interest rates and regulation are driving Bitcoin more than sector-specific issues. It also shows traders laser-focused on potential Bitcoin ETFs in the US. Rounding out top stories, global markets fell yesterday as renewed inflation and rate hike fears intensified. In Asia, Japan's Nikkei index dropped 2.5%. European stocks also slumped, with the UK's FTSE index losing 1.2% and Germany's DAX index down 0.9%. On Wall Street, the Dow and S&P 500 each fell over 1% while the Nasdaq lost 1.4%. Driving declines was further evidence that the Fed may need to maintain higher rates to tame inflation. Government bond yields surged on the news. Key events this week. U.S. durable goods, Wednesday. Eurozone economic confidence, consumer confidence, Thursday. U.S. initial jobless claims, GDP, Thursday. Fed Chair Jerome Powell town hall meeting with educators while Richmond Fed President Tom Barkin, Chicago Fed President Austin Goolsbee make speeches, Thursday. Eurozone CPI, Friday. Japan unemployment, industrial production, retail sales, Tokyo CPI, Friday. U.S. consumer spending, wholesale inventories, University of Michigan consumer sentiment, Friday. ECB President Christine Lagarde speaks, Friday. New York Fed President John Williams speaks, Friday. Some of the main moves in markets. Stocks. The Stoxx Europe 600 rose 0.4% as of 9:24 a.m. London time. S&P 500 futures rose 0.5%. Nasdaq 100 futures rose 0.5%. Futures on the Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 0.4%. The MSCI Asia Pacific Index rose 0.1%. The MSCI Emerging Markets Index rose 0.2%. Currencies. The Bloomberg Dollar Spot Index was little changed. The euro was little changed at $1.0568. The Japanese yen was little changed at 149.02 per dollar. The offshore yuan was little changed at 7.3128 per dollar. The British pound was little changed at $1.2153. Cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin rose 0.3% to $26,221.59. Ether rose 0.2% to $1,590.05. Bonds. The yield on 10-year treasuries declined 3 basis points to 4.51%. Germany's 10-year yield declined 1 basis point to 2.79%. Britain's 10-year yield declined 3 basis points to 4.30%. Commodities. Brent crude rose 1% to $94.86 a barrel. Spot gold fell 0.3% to $1,895.64 an ounce. In conclusion, we'd like to thank you for watching Market Briefing, Financial News and Cryptocurrencies. If you enjoyed our insights and found the information helpful, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to our channel to stay updated with future analyses. Thank you again for your support, and we'll see you soon with more interesting news. Remember, the information in this video is purely informational and does not constitute investment advice. Always consult with a professional before making financial decisions.